There we go. It is Nissan Postgame Live. We are back inside our SNY studios. Gary Apple, Todd Zeile, Gary Cohen. It is over out at Citi Field. The Mets get themselves a critical win in a swing game in this best-of-5 series, 7-2 the final, over the Philadelphia Phillies, and they took the early lead. They never really looked back, and again, they lead this best-of-5 2-1. And guys, so many interesting storylines in this series with the comebacks, the dramatics. But I think one of the things that maybe is overlooked a little bit, the quality of the starting pitching, Garrett. And I'll begin right there with you because Sean Manaea kept that going today.
Well, you know, it's the fourth time in 6 postseason games that the Mets have gotten at least 6 innings from their starting pitching. And these days, that is unheard of in postseason play, where everybody seems to want to go bullpenning early in games. Manaea was magnificent today, got hit a little hard in the first inning, but from there, he really was solid, got out of a jam in the 6th inning. But you look at the starting pitching so far in this postseason, the highlight was Quintana going 6 scoreless against the Brewers in the clincher in Game 3 in that series. But the Mets have gotten solid pitching just about every day. And we say 4 times in 6 games their pitchers have gone at least 6. That doesn't even count the 2 innings that Kodai Senga threw, where you knew he wasn't going to go much beyond that. So the Mets have gone against what the prevailing wisdom is in postseason play these days. They have ridden their starting pitching much as they did during their stretch run in the regular season.
Yeah, that was the point. I was just going to make a point on that, is that you could easily have seen in a postseason game for when Manaea was done with 6, for that he was done, and he went back out there in the 7th. And even after 5, when they got some runs, you weren't sure if even was going to go back in the 6th. But Carlos certainly showing a lot of confidence in his starting pitching and doing what he can right now when they had the edge to kind of give that bullpen a little bit of a break as well.
All right, so let's go to that 6th inning. You mentioned it right there, and he walked the first 2 batters he faced, and then he battled through it. How did he get through that?
Well, I mean, not only did he walk those first 2 batters, but then he had a real test ahead of him because he had the meat of that lineup coming up, and guys that had some success against him in the past, and you saw the emotion. You don't see that kind of emotion all that often from Sean Manaea. It was really nice to see it right there.
It was great to see, and he was the winning pitcher in this game number 3 of this National League divisional series. I do want to ask you, Gare, because we spent time on the pregame show talking about the matchup, Manaea and Bryce Harper. How should he attack him today? What was your thought on the way he went after him?
You know, we talked during the pregame show today about how it seemed as though Sean needed to throw more of his secondary stuff because the Phillies are such a good fastball hitting team, and he really went heavy with his sweeper and his changeup. Tim Britton of The Athletic made the point that since the All-Star break, coming into this 6th inning today, he had thrown 1 left-on-left changeup the entire time, the last 3 months. He threw 4 left-on-left changeups during that sequence, 3 of them to Schwarber and 1 of them to Harper, and he got the results that he eventually needed. And all credit to Sean, because he had been going so predominantly fastball through this stretch since he revamped himself back in July, and he really changed the game plan today.
He did, and as we saw in that, it wasn't just the changeup. He used that really effectively. That was his 2nd highest changeup usage on the season, but it was his lowest fastball usage collectively, on the year. And it just goes to the point that we had talked about, is that for a while when he had made the adjustment to his delivery and he was getting so much swing and miss on the fastball, it was something that people hadn't seen. Now the Phillies have seen him 3 times in the last month or so, and so you've got to be able to change up your repertoire a little bit to keep these guys guessing. You saw Nola doing that a little bit on his side, but Manaea more effective with that mix of pitches today.